I am resigning as leader.
There will be a great deal of agreement.
There should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister.
Breaking news, etiquette expert and Help I Sexted My Boss podcast host William Hanson
has just been announced as the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He's currently in high-level governmental meetings with his advisors Matt Richardson and Lorin Bell Cross, formulating his policies and strategy.
Hello and welcome to I Am Prime Minister, the podcast where we give celebrities a chance to step into the chaotic world of politics and take over the keys to number 10. What would they bring in under their manifesto? How would they handle questions in the Commons? And can they prove that anyone really can run the country? William Hanson, welcome to I Am PM. Congratulations on your shock victory in the election.
Shock? Well, egos round the ankles now. Thanks.
I'm here to help you through, along with your new chief advisor, political expert, Lorin Bell Cross. Now, we need to get this started. It was such a shock victory that you hadn't even had a chance to name your party.
Oh, I see.
So what are we going to go for?
We'll go for the nice party.
The nice party?
Yes, it's not very inspiring, I appreciate it.
No, but do you think that there needs to be more niceness in politics?
I think there needs to be more niceness all over the shop.
Absolutely.
Yes. But we could start with politics, with a top-down approach.
Lovely stuff. And also, we do have to address a potential issue.
Oh, gosh.
So, obviously, you know, we've had a little look at the skeletons in your closet.
Okay.
That may be a problem that we have to address early in your premiership.
Yeah.
You know, let's get it out of the way. And we have a little video, actually, that I'm going to need to show you. Find out how you feel about this and how we can get around it.
Okay, I'm braced. I shall have my lawyers on standby.
We've come in to do some interviews to promote the book, and it wasn't actually, we weren't meant to be filming or recording an episode, and it has been sprung on me, and so I thought I'll just do my makeup whilst we record the episode with more mascara. You're not going to bother with makeup then, are you?
I've got a cat, but I'm going gym after this. Shock.
Now, look, how do you feel about that moment for such a man that is known for such etiquette and poise being out there in the world? How are we going to address this?
What, wearing makeup?
No, not wearing makeup when you should have been.
No, I know. Well, look, I'm blaming my comms team and the opposition parties they now are, headed by Jordan North.
Oh, so Jordan's not going to be in your government, he's in the opposition.
We don't want his type. No. Please, no. No, he's very lazy. We don't want him in government.
No, fair enough. That is absolutely... We don't want lazy people anywhere near this.
No, we want hard workers, grafters. Jordan only does 2 hours, 15 minutes a day work.
So that is nowhere near enough. That's like Boris Johnson levels of work. So...
Yes, and in between that he's playing Fred again, so it doesn't... Yeah.
Well do. Up to standards in our new cabinet.
Precisely, yes. You agree, Lauren, don't you?
100%.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Are you just meant to agree with everything I say as my advisor?
Meant to agree, disagree, and also throw in some odd challenges there when we sort of bring stuff up, when we've got ideas, when we've got, you know, I'm here to help make your premiership as smooth as possible. That will mean sometimes agreeing, but it will also mean throwing the odd question at you might disagree with and need a sort of firm answer that the press out there are going to believe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you want some yes men, really?
Yes.
Fair enough.
I'll be your yes man.
Yeah, okay.
I'm here to say that everything you come up with is the best idea ever.
Okay.
Lauren is here to say it's a great idea, but the public aren't ready.
Okay, fine.
We're delicate.
It's like having the angel and the devil on. You're in white, so that's nice. You're in a pink corduroy effect shirt, so that's fine. That's sort of devil-esque, isn't it? The devil's big on
Well, look,
corduroy.
the devil's in the details, and he hasn't ironed it, so that sort of suits you, doesn't it? Whereas this, I did iron, but I've been sat on the train. Today. Only because I read your book and you go on about ironing in there.
Yes, I'm probably the only 34-year-old that goes on about ironing, but there we go.
I bought a steamer and that changed my life. Now, we do need to start with a new department that you want to set up.
Yes. I will now commission, is that the verb?
Commission is the verb, yes.
The Ministry of Manners.
The Ministry of Manners. Now, this is what you're known for. And do you think the public are getting worse with their manners then?
Well, I do think historically, if you look at sort of all the historical stuff, every generation says, well, you know, it's never been this rude. So I think that's cyclical. So I think we can cut everyone a little bit of slack.
Yeah.
But potentially there are many different ways to interact with other people these days, mobile phones, computers, technology. And so we have a greater chance to annoy people than ever before.
Yeah.
But maybe we have remained the same level of rude over the years and the centuries, but we just have a greater opportunity to be rude to people.
Because we interact more often.
Exactly.
With this department, is this going to be integrated at a young age in education, or are we going to be putting people into manor camps?
Well, it depends how rude they are. really.
Okay, so there's going to be an assessment
Yes.
for every person in the country.
Yes, we shall call it, what should we call it? Off-Fork, which is our new regulating body for people's manners and general etiquette.
And so obviously you do teach etiquette still now, even with all the success you've had with your podcast, your book. What are the common mistakes people are making that we're going to rectify as a government?
Well, I tell you what annoys me is just when people don't say please, thank you, sorry, or look you in the eye. All the really basic stuff. You don't need to have gone to an etiquette class, read an etiquette book, gone to finishing school to know. Please, thank you, sorry. Eye contact, fairly standard.
Yeah, I think it is fairly standard. And I think people are... Is it because we're in a rush now? What do we need? Do we need to slow people down? Is that part of it?
Yes, I think everyone's in a rush to do everything, particularly in big cities, I think where the pace of life is greater, and not just in London, in New York, Paris, whichever big city. But yes, slow people down. I also think, I've said this on my podcast before, sometimes, when you're over the age of 21, you should never rush anywhere. Like, if you're having to rush to get something, you have failed as a human being. Okay? Just get the next train, get the next bus. Just calm. I don't think it's
that you're
seemly.
flawed as a person and you're going to be late.
Well, yes, but also you have this technology, as we have said, to communicate that you're going to be late.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's fine. Just manage people's expectations.
I suppose that was a thing in the 90s. You didn't know if someone had gone missing or if they were just 20 minutes late.
Yes, exactly.
It must have been a nightmare.
But people didn't seem to care. I don't think any of our parents' generation sort of thought, oh, got that hilarious story or that really worrying story when someone turned up half an hour late. It was just sort of, you just waited.
With your thoughts.
Yes, and you were at one, and it was fine, and somehow we've managed to get to this day.
So I feel like we're digging into something interesting here that we can make policy that people shouldn't rush. So over the age of 21, you shouldn't be rushing.
No.
So maybe I think an easy thing to do there is we implement a maximum speed limit for a walk.
Yes.
Because people are rushing around and it does affect everyone else around you, especially when you're getting a train and things and people are running to a train.
Running into the train.
It gives you anxiety as well. So look, I mean, maximum maybe 3-4 miles an hour, a stroll.
Yes, we need pedestrian speed cameras.
We need pedestrian speed cameras. I think that's a very good idea. Has anything like this ever been implemented before with manners, Lorin?
Well, in terms of how we introduce manners, there is a slight unfortunate precedent, which is how we're going to iron out the detail. The one government that did set classes for good manners for school children...
Was Blair?
The Chinese government.
Oh, the Chinese.
I'm not quite sure if this is what we want to use as a model. However, what you did say, you said a regulator being set up. So if we do, like Tony Blair, and shelf this out to a regulator or a non-governmental organisation that will set these standards in public life but won't be accountable to you directly as a minister, but you can appoint maybe a friend, a close friend, an ally, not a crony. You would never call them a crony.
No. But a quango. You're gonna have a quango to do this. You want one step away from you, so that this can be implemented quite strictly.
Okay. Well, I mean, Chinese government, unfortunate. I can remember Blair did introduce. I'm fairly sure it was Blair, maybe it was Brown, an emotional intelligence czar. I can remember I'm going to say 2006. Was Blair still in?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that is what a wishy-washy job title.
Yes, just call it manners. Because that's all manners are. It's just being nice to people.
As a government as well, I think it's important that we are polite. Everything is polite. There is nothing that's going to be controversial or combative in our government because we will get more away.
Yes.
Let's be lovely to the opposition, even though it is Jordan North. Just because PMQs, what a delight PMQs is going to become with you at the helm.
Yes, we'll just be nice little claps.
Yeah. None of that boorish noise.
No.
Or do we not want to keep the boorish noise as a sort of tradition?
No.
We want to emulate the House of Lords and the proper standards that are there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be more sort of nods of agreement, hands in the air.
Yes.
It's going to be very, very nice.
What about jazz hands? Are we pro anti-jazz hands?
We can do jazz. They're very inclusive. Jazz hands, that's fine. We can do
absolutely.
that. I don't care. That's silent as well.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. What a lovely... Rather than everyone yelling at each other, just a load of MPs giving each other jazz hands.
Exactly.
I think that will make it a much gentler politics.
Yes, it's a kind of gentler politics.
I really, really like this. So the Ministry of Manners, who are going to be in charge of all things like slowing people down.
Yes.
The manners within Parliament as well. I think that's very important.
Yes, and I think also, I've just thought of this policy, I'll have to run it past Lorin. You can have a tax rebate, or you can offset against tax if you buy stamps to write thank you letters.
Ooh,
lovely.
So
let's encourage people to write thank you letters.
Another good way to reinvest public money into the post office as well, and the Royal Mail, which, is flailing.
Exactly.
failing, not doing very well. We want it to boost up this great British institution.
I love that because people will then write thank you letters, and there's nothing nicer than a thank you letter, is there?
Exactly.
Oh,
Yep.
I
Especially now.
absolutely
When's the
love
last
it.
time you had a thank you letter from anyone?
Today.
Oh,
I
nice.
actually got a thank you letter today.
Show off.
Only because I run a charity gig every year, and the charity just wrote me a letter saying thank you, and it made my day.
Handwritten or typed?
Handwritten.
Good.
Terrible
Yes.
handwriting, though, I have to
That's
say.
fine. I mean, my handwriting's terrible, but at least the thought is there.
We're going to move on to the ones that already exist.
Okay.
Let's start with business.
Yes.
The Ministry of Business. What are we going to do here in business and trade?
Well, I'm going to scrap Sunday trading restrictions.
Off. So they just open normal hours on a
If
Sunday.
they want to, open whenever. If they don't want to, fine, you shut up.
This
Shut up
feels
shop.
like something that's been bothering you for a while.
Yes, it has.
What are you missing on Sundays that you want to have opened?
I want to be in Waitrose at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday.
So it's not even late night. This is very much you want your day to start earlier.
Yes. And I don't think, the argument, this is actually getting a bit serious here, but I don't think the argument recently, when I think they had to go relatively recently to get rid of this, it's so people, the Jacob Rees-Mogg twits of this world sort of said, it's so people can go to church. If people want to go to church, fine, but whether Waitrose is open on a Sunday or not is not going to make them go to church.
Absolutely. Like, why should everyone be deprived of Waitrose because some people want to go to church?
Yes, or indeed any other supermarket or department store.
Well, look, I used to work in a shop on a Sunday. And
What type of shop?
I worked in a Next.
Ah, okay.
And we had a weird thing where it was browsing hours. So we opened at 9:30 and you were allowed to look around the shop, but not allowed to buy anything.
Look but don't touch.
Yeah, and it was so people would go around and then just sort of place the stuff by the till, and then people would stand for 20 minutes after they'd picked their shirt just waiting to purchase it. It was really frustrating
Well, that's
for
very
them.
sweet. That's nice.
It was very, once again, quite polite. People would wait. But I do hate the Sunday trading hours thing. Whenever I go abroad, I always sort of slightly forget that we're the only people that do it.
Yeah.
But you're wrong. In fact, across Europe, there's similar restrictions in place.
Really?
Across loads of different countries where, these kind of restrictions, often, as you say, the religious aspects of it are still in there. Sort of a lot of countries like Poland, for example, the church is sort of still there. They've got an outright ban on trading on Sundays. So it's it's surprisingly more common than we might think.
Yeah, because I think all that happens is you end up going to a petrol station for things that you don't really want to pay that much money for in a petrol station.
Yes, and I don't get why the little Waitrose, as they're called, or your Sainsbury's local, or your sort of they can open 7 till 7, I believe.
Yeah,
or similar.
absolutely.
What annoys me is when you go in at 10:30 or whatever it is, and you're sort of wandering around, but they can't open the tills yet. Until on the dot.
It's actually this is really boring information I have in the back of my head. It's a square footage thing of who can open when. It's the size of your store. If you're under 3,000 square feet, I believe, I'm going to ask you to check this, Lorin, under 3,000 square feet, then you can open whatever hours you like. If you're selling food, if you're like a convenience store, then you're allowed. Anything over that, the supermarkets aren't allowed.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it is.
We'd scrap all that.
We're getting rid of it. We're getting rid of it. You can do Sundays. And is there other shopping things you would like to do? So
No,
this is
I
your
think
only
that's-
issue around shopping?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I know recently there was a news story that Booths, the sort of the upmarket supermarkets in the north, are going to get rid of their automated, the self-checkouts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't agree with that necessarily. I don't think we should only have automated checkouts.
No,
but
I
I
agree.
think automated checkouts play a crucial... If you are just going in for a banana on your lunch break,
Yes.
you don't necessarily need to chat with Sheila on the checkout.
I do pick on what my mood is if I'm going to self-checkout or not in my little
Okay.
local supermarket,
Yes.
because sometimes I know them because I live in a village,
Yeah.
and it's fine. We've got a little Sainsbury's in the village, and it's great sometimes talking to them, but other
Yes.
days I just want to go.
Precisely.
So I think it is very good having the option, because you don't want to do it and then be rude to people because the Ministry of Manners will be in touch.
Precisely, yes, and then you'll get locked up.
Although,
We're getting locked up now,
Yeah.
are we, for the
Yeah.
manners?
Hardly.
Very strong opinions on manners. I really
Yes,
love it.
It's
You
funny
know.
that.
we could also, if we wanted to sort of implement the manners in all aspects of life, we can implement strict restrictions on the machines that they have to be programmed to a higher degree of politeness than they currently are.
Oh, yes, and you've prompted me something there, Lorin. I mean, do we have a technology department?
We
one?
can do
Yes.
can do technology, yeah. Science and
your,
technology.
Your smart speaker devices, I won't say all their particular names.
No, you don't,
it'll
yeah, of
set
course.
everyone off. Will only respond if you say please.
Oh,
I
that's
like
a
that. I
lovely
like that.
one.
Yeah. So it should please.
See, the thing is, what I like about a lot of these policies as well is so far it's cost nothing for the government.
Thank you very
We're not
much.
having to raise taxes or anything because, I mean, yeah, the rebate for stamps and thank you notes, but otherwise, these are all things that make life a little bit better, but cost nothing.
Thank you.
Maybe that's the
My
slogan.
Chancellor will be delighted.
Yeah, your Chancellor will be thrilled, whoever they may be.
Yep.
We've yet to pick those. We can get onto that at some point.
And in fact, we've got the perfect slogan for it. Manners cost nothing.
Manners cost nothing. Okay, so that's business. That's a very easy one, I think. Sunday
Sorted.
trading hours will stimulate the economy as well, so
Yeah.
I'm really loving that. Let's move on to our next department and working out what we're going to do. It's culture, media and sport.
So this one's fairly hardline. But if you talk or use your mobile phone during a theatre performance, a live performance, or potentially during a cinema performance, I know it's not live, I would taser you.
Tasers?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a big yes from me.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, well,
100%.
you will know this.
I love this.
Yeah.
I had to tell someone off, but on Saturday night for
How
using
did you
their
do
phone. I just went, "What are you doing?" Number one, they're on their phone. I went, "What?" Like I'm stood here. What are you doing? I used to be much more polite and going, "Oh, what's going on there?" But now I just go, "Why?" I've been like you can wait 10 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
And it's never important.
If the house is burnt down, you may as well enjoy the next 10 minutes because your life is ruined from now on.
Or leave. Like,
Yeah.
just check the message, leave.
Yep. I've had people pick up their phone. There's a very famous Jimmy Carr story of a man answering his phone in the front row of one of Jimmy's gigs. And the guy goes, "I'm just at the comedy." "No, not really." Which is absolutely damning, Yes, absolutely on board with this.
Yeah.
Have you had a bad experience with it then?
Almost every show I now go to, there is something since COVID. I don't know what has happened
Yeah.
I
since
agree.
COVID.
100%.
Nobody, and it's not rocket science, everybody, as to how to behave in a theatre.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it. Nobody can sit there. They'll either chat and discuss the show. Great if you want. I'm all for people being engaged and
Yeah.
discussing the performance. That's what the interval's for. Or afterwards when you are on the bus or the tube going home. During the show, shush. Let them. You shouldn't be singing along if you've gone to see Mamma Mia. And it's those types of shows.
They
Tina.
are becoming a real problem, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are you a big theatre goer then?
Yeah, generally.
What's your preference on theatre shows? What do you love?
Generally, just Mary Poppins the musical, which I have seen 40 times. And
Genuinely 40 times?
Genuinely 40 times. I went to the last ever night in 2020. When did it end? Did it end this year?
On
Yes,
Compton
2023.
Street
Yeah,
in- yeah.
At the Prince Edward. I was there on the last night, and that was my 40th time. It has been going since 2004, so this is 40 times since then. Still quite a lot. And I've seen it all over the world.
Sort of twice a year.
Yes.
Average.
Well, let's put it this way. When it opened in October 2019 at the Prince Edward, in the revival, I had only seen... This is awful when you actually think about it. I had only seen Mary Poppins the musical 12 times.
Oh gosh, so you really...
So I saw it. I mean, there was COVID in the middle of it, but I did see it quite a lot between October 2019 and January 2023.
Do you so that is a lot of times. I've probably seen my one of those.
What's yours?
Book of Mormon.
Yes, fun. Nice.
I've seen Book of Mormon probably 12 or 13 times.
Okay, I see.
And then
Twice.
And then Phantom I've probably seen 7 or 8 times.
Okay, Lauren.
I'm not a musical person at all, but I'm
Well,
in
that's
full
a shame. You're
agree-
going to have to resign from government then, isn't
Yes.
So in disgrace.
Yes, the culture brief's
I'd
taken
say
away from you.
you're not going far enough, especially on smartphones and also use of phones in public life more generally. I think there's real votes in this. What I'd say as well is on buses or public transport, this should be expanded into not just tasering, but multiple of tasering leads up to a deportation potentially. I think it is specifically the post-COVID thing because we seem to have been transported back to when I was a kid, so 2007, of people just blaring their music out of their phones.
Yes.
And I've only noticed it post-COVID. I don't know if you guys have noticed the same thing. Or
I think so. My sense of it is post-COVID, people are naughty.
Yep.
Like audience,
Yeah.
especially I do so many shows where audience members are just sort of like not like awful, but just not like naughty children, like chatting with each other. Like I told someone off the other day because they started talking. I was doing a show and they started talking, and I went, "Sorry, what's going on there?" And the woman went, "Oh, sorry, it's just you reminded me of a story that I've got." And I went, "Which nobody's paid to hear. So why don't you shut the fuck up and let me tell it? Because believe it or not, this is really crafted, mine, and I don't think yours will be."
Yes.
And it's such a nightmare. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
But it's everyone's ego has become so inflated that they think that take that woman, her story is actually in that moment the most important thing.
yes.
And it isn't.
Exactly.
And
Do
actually-
what you do at a dinner party. Wait politely for them to finish and then tell your better
Precisely.
story.
Or use the interval. Use the after the show. There's a time and a place.
Yes, it's getting really frustrating. And the you say about the trains as well.
Awful.
Is I was on the train last week coming into London, and a girl came on and started playing her music. She was having a little cry and playing her music out loud on the speaker. She was French, and I don't know if that's got anything to do with
Very
it.
emotional.
And I just went, I'm really sorry, but this is the quiet coach. Can you turn that off because we don't want to hear it? I was with my girlfriend, and she reacted as if I screamed at her. She went, you need to stop yelling at me about this. I need to listen to it. And I went, I understand you think you're having a main character moment, but you aren't. Can you please go and listen to it in a part of the train that isn't the quiet coach? Because we've
Well,
sat
I would
here,
also argue, though, even listening it to a normal character
it would be
still
unacceptable.
inappropriate.
But I was like, we're sat reading our books. We don't need to, and no one else wants to say anything. But no one wants to hear this. And she said I was being aggressive, and I wasn't. I was being as polite as possible because I knew that it was going
The
to cause a
quiet
problem with her.
coach.
She was angry at me
Yeah.
for asking her to stop.
Crazy.
Has there been any attempt to sort of limit how people use their smartphones in any
So it
government
was
before?
actually in New York, the then Mayor Michael Bloomberg introduced a ban on using them in exactly what we've discussed, phones being banned in theatres, movie houses and concerts and libraries, which,
Gosh.
you know.
And how did it work, or did it...
I mean, I imagine New York's pretty crime-ridden at the minute, and I think, that's... allowing the use of phones probably low down the agenda when there's people.
I think in America
stabbing and
as well,
shooting.
like in the grand scheme of things, we're like, no more phones, please. Guns, bring them in.
Yes.
I think this is really important. I think lots of things are being ruined that are nice for people because other people want to enjoy them in a selfish way.
Yes.
So I love this idea. I'm
Marvellous.
so on board with this. And I think the public generally will enjoy this as well. Even though they are the ones causing the issues, I think people do like the idea of these sorts of things being banned.
Yes, I think it's in everybody's best interests.
Absolutely. This is fantastic
And
stuff.
I should clarify that the voltage on the taser would be quite low. So I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, sorry. I've sort of really skimmed over the tasering
I thought
here.
you might pull me up more on that.
So, is it a tasering for the first offence?
You could maybe get asked to not do it.
And then
if
it's
you do,
tasered.
yes. And actually, in New York, they're much better. The ushers are much better. I mean, it's a profession in New York, and sort of being an usher or an usherette in a theatre in New York is a career.
Yeah.
And they will flash a torch in your face.
Yes.
Whereas over here,
It's more sort of teenagers that are doing jobs in university over here, the ushers.
yeah, and they don't like confrontation, which is quite a British thing. But whereas in New York, they love confrontation.
So I think, are we trying to get over the Britishness by going, it's straight to tasers? Because then there's no confrontation. You just get you just get tasered.
Yeah, and if you don't want to be tasered, guess what? Don't do it.
And arguably, the first few taserings would send a message to people that they then know.
Yes.
Because they go, this isn't really going to happen. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh gosh, someone was tasered at Cats.
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to talk through any of them, Cats is the one. I think.
Yes,
It's
to be
not
fair,
for me.
it won't happen during Cats. That's fine.
No, like, look, in the second half of Cats, most people have left by the time, I think.
Yeah,
But that was my
Jellicle
opinion.
ball
of it.
over, go.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the thing is with you, I think, is what quite interesting is like your premiership going forward. We do have this veneer of politeness, and we want everyone to be lovely, but there is consequences.
I think if you don't have consequences, what's the point?
Yeah, I like this. It's not just nice words and please and thank yous. There is violence.
Yes. But
I'm really getting a picture of you as a man.
Well advertised violence. So
okay, look, I'm a big fan of this. I think this will make everyone's life better. And also, look, I think the theatre is so expensive and lots of people don't have access to it, and then it's ruined, so they don't want to go again.
Yes, theatre is not cheap.
No.
It is not cheap. And some people have saved up for months, weeks, years to afford that ticket. And then some twit next door then chats all the way through it, starts taking photos.
I also would say then, we should maybe, as well as this, I think the tasering is a great idea. If you are tasered, you are also legally obligated to pay for a ticket for someone who can't afford the theatre.
The two people either side of you, not in your party.
Lovely.
Yes. So if we've all gone, and let's say I got tasered, that would be a hypocrite, but let's say I got tasered, I'm not paying for your tickets because you're my party. I'm paying for the people next to you.
Because their night's been ruined by it. What are we going to do with the taser? Is it going to happen on the spot in the show, or are they pulled over after the show and tasered in a quiet room?
Then maybe you have to wait until the end of a song when there's clapping. Then you shout taser, 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 fire it.
Or,
and then
hear
deal
me
with it
out,
then.
do we want to sort of say, for the sort of sending the message point of view, do we want to wait for the interval and then line up all the people who've been on the phones?
Gosh, why not?
Taser them on stage.
Taser them on stage in front of the fire curtain.
Yes. They can fall into the orchestra
Yeah,
pit.
but look, it's also, I think it's a great idea because people used to love a public flogging.
Yes.
And it's sort of a very middle class way of bringing that back.
Yes.
I really like this.
We'll workshop this with my one of my committees.
I think, look, I don't even think this is going to be a problem to pitch this to the public. I think this is, especially look with the chattering classes who obviously love the theatre.
Yes,
you know, it might be that it's a problem that it's seen as a bit of a thing for the liberal elite.
Yeah.
But, you know, who cares?
This is when the public turned on Just Stop Oil, when they started disrupting Les Mis. They didn't care beforehand. When Les Mis was interviewed.
Well, look, I mean, the tasering of Just Stop Oil in the interval of Les Mis, I think, would be quite a popular move
Yeah,
these
well,
days.
that's at Les Mis. I don't like Les Mis as a show, so that's fine.
No, I
can
wasn't
ruin
too
that.
bothered about Les Mis.
No.
My dad left Les Mis. He walked out after 10 minutes. And if you ask him now what he thinks of Les Mis, he goes, man steals bread, sings for 3 hours. That's his opinion on it.
I'm with him.
Well, look, let's move on to your final set of policies. Which department would you like to do this in?
Well, this is sort of loosely under health and social, but it's more social than
okay,
health.
that's fair enough.
Yes.
Not a problem.
It will be illegal, and I haven't worked out the punishment, for any wedding to be more than 7 hours.
Oh,
Is
yes.
this service or the whole day?
The whole thing.
Yeah.
You don't
I
need that
might
long.
push this even further.
you want
No matter how many
shorter?
times you get married, you're allowed 7 hours of wedding in total in your life.
Oh, yes, because that will... Yes, okay.
Because then what it'll
Yeah.
make you do is when you're getting married for the first time, you go, if you're sure of it, you'll go, well, I'll have the whole 7 hours. Whereas it'll make you really think about if you're going to marry that person. Do you
Yes.
want to waste your 7 hours of wedding on this person?
Yeah, true.
Because
yes, okay.
Because I'm really in the weddings at the moment. I'm doing all of them. And I've had a couple of people... I'm in my early 30s. I've got a few friends that are older who are on their second wedding, and I think, am I going to have to redo 50% of these anyway?
Yes, you probably will.
That's days on weddings.
Yep.
It's not acceptable. 7 hours on a wedding, absolutely, but I want to go more hardline.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
That's
7 hours in your whole life.
That's fine. I will consider
fine.
that.
What's inspired this? Have you been to lots of long weddings?
Yes, I most weddings can be at least 3 hours shorter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I go to most weddings and I think you didn't need this.
Yeah.
Why is this gap so long? This is self-indulgent. Everyone's hating it other than the couple.
Yep.
And I just don't like them.
Yeah.
I'm really
And
paranoid
that's
now.
gay and straight.
If we become friends now and you come to my wedding, I'm going to have to really think about it.
Well, I'll be going after 7 hours.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You're entitled to leave after 7 hours, no matter where in the wedding it is.
Yes, if you haven't said I do, I'm off.
Have you
That's
been
fine.
to them where it's been that long before the I do's?
No, to be fair, no. They do get up. They do that quite quickly.
That's the
most
thing,
people.
isn't it? That bit's quick, and then
That's
you just
the bit that matters.
And there's that
awkward
weird sort of-
wait.
Yeah.
There's the sort of ceremony, and then if you're not in the wedding breakfast, you've
Tell
then
us-
got to wait around at a pub somewhere,
Yeah.
and then be brought back into the main.
And also, I
party.
do think. I don't know if this is controversial. You're married and you're married. I'm not married. I'm going to ban the evening do option.
Yes, we didn't have
You're
one.
either there or you're not there.
Oh, yes, this people, yes, the sort of second guest list.
Yes, because
No. Yeah.
I think that should be illegal.
Yep.
Because also, like, I've gone to many where I've been invited, and the wedding is still hundreds of miles away. So the cost to me is it's greater because I'm paying to eat.
That's my biggest bugbear about weddings.
Did you have an evening do?
I did, but it was a small thing. But my biggest bugbear is when the entire friendship group is from, say, London.
Yeah.
Why am I going to
Yes.
Devon and spending hundreds of pounds on transport, on accommodation, to then I'm going to see you in a month's time in London?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm interested in this because, like, I've been with Sam, my girlfriend. We've been together 9 years, and we're not
congratulations.
married.
Are you thinking about it?
We will get married. Look, we've a mortgage together, so financially she can't leave me.
Okay, fine.
I've really locked her in.
Well,
another
legally
way.
she can.
Well, legally she
yes.
can, but financially
Financially
we
she
are
can't. It would be tricky.
we're in bed together for a while. But I'm interested in weddings. So you said you didn't do an evening do. Tell us about your wedding. I'm fascinated.
So we did the legal bit just for immediate family, quick,
Great.
in the hotel. Then we went to the church for a blessing.
Yep.
Not particularly religious, but we like church. We like the pomp of the church.
Yeah, of course.
And our friend's a vicar, so that's fine.
Lovely.
Did that bit, half an hour, all it needs to be. In fact, actually, I think it was 25 minutes. It was meant to be 40
dream.
minutes, but it was 25 minutes. Everyone back to the hotel, lunch, goodbye. But I think the last guest left at 5:30. Lovely.
So you didn't do sort of an evening disco and everything?
No.
I'm not surprised.
No, I had a few friends that rented a room in a venue, sort of people of Mikey, my husband's age, sort of did like a drinks thing, which I had said, we might come. I don't know how I'm going to feel.
We might come to our own wedding drinks.
I don't know how I'm going to feel at the end of my wedding. I don't know whether I'm going to want to hang out with my parents and my family, or if I'm just going to want to sort of lie down in a darkened room because it's all over. We'll do a cameo appearance if we can. We did an hour.
Oh, I love that you did a cameo at your own wedding.
Yeah,
that's so on brand.
Exactly. We went back to our room, showered, changed, had a nice change of clothes, went, did a bit, came back, had a wonderful room service.
I think, look, this is a really interesting policy because the government gets involved in the wrong side of marriages, like who can get married to who and things like that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as you love each other.
Yeah, as long as you love each other, it's fine. Let's talk about the details of the day.
Yes.
Because I think speeches should be banned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're never very good.
Nope.
And I have to sit in a room with a best man speech, and the best man at every wedding I've ever been to is, well, unless it's a wedding of
cringe.
comedians, comes over and goes, and like wants to sort of, and then everyone looks
It's
at
never
me.
funny.
No,
It's never funny.
And whenever there's a joke, the people I'm sat on the table with will always go and look at me to see if I laugh at the
Look at
joke.
your seal of approval.
I do the loudest laugh in the room because I want to be like, please keep going. One of my friends got married, and the father of the bride did a speech for, I'm not exaggerating, 25 minutes with a slideshow. And she came round to all the tables before it and went, it's funny, but it's not meant to be, so can you not laugh?
Which means you did laugh?
No, we all just went, this is really like it was very sort of David Brent.
Oh gosh.
Unintentionally cringily funny.
Yeah.
And we all had to sit there in silence. So I think speeches should be banned as well.
Yes, okay, fair. No, maybe we say no more than 3, which is sort of the classic number. But again, there's a time at 7 minutes. Let's pick 7 as a number.
I'm love 7.
Yeah. After that, taser. Let's bring the taser back.
Absolutely.
The registrars can do it, or the priests, just depending on where.
I think we should have a 7-7 policy for weddings. 7 minutes for speeches, 7 hours in total.
Perfect.
I
Lovely.
absolutely love that.
Because also, think of the money people are going to save by not having weddings that are 12, 14 hours. You don't need the photo booths. Don't get me started on photo booths.
For passports only.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to wear comedy glasses and hold a blow-up banana. There's only, we've done that at everybody's wedding. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's tragic. And what a waste of money. Anyway, so yeah, stop.
You should be a wedding planner rather than Prime Minister.
Yeah, well, if politics fails, I'll go into wedding planning.
Absolutely.
But I'd be terrible because couples would just come to me with their plans. I'd just go, no, you're not having that. Don't be stupid.
Oh, great.
Sometimes they need to be told.
Yeah, I think once again, we're looking, a lot of the theme of this is the delusion of the public.
Yes.
And how we're going to fix that.
You want eucalyptus in the flowers? No, you're not having that.
No,
Everyone
you're not having that. You can't talk in the theatre and you can't have what you think's classy at a wedding because it isn't.
Precisely. Yes.
Be better.
Yes. There we go. Be better.
Well, look, I think these policies are promising. The Sunday hours abolishment is a great idea. Mm-hmm. I think the no talking in the theatre, no using your phone in the theatre, you get tasered. Fantastic. That is very easy. 7 hours for a wedding, I absolutely love as well. And I do love as well that people are too rushy.
Yes.
That was a side note that, people can walk at a maximum speed limit and we'll be installing cameras.
Yes, because you won't trip over, you won't do yourself an injury.
And life will just be a bit more serene.
Yes. You look at, do you get served on your sort of social media feed, sort of colourised footage, it was obviously old black and white footage of Piccadilly Circus in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Do you see that? And just everyone's just so calm. There's nobody there. There are very few, and it's just lovely.
It's just, life is too stressful and we're
go
trying
back
to
to
take
that.
all of that away.
Yep.
Look, thank you so much for these policies. I think we can work these up into something, can't we, Lorin?
I think there's a bright future ahead.
Yeah, I absolutely think there is. I'm very much looking forward to being a part of the nice party.
Oh, I'm so happy. I was really worried I wasn't going to get voted back in.
And if people want to see more of your opinions and what you think of things, they can look at your book.
Yes, Help I Sexted My Boss, the book.
Which is, obviously absolutely brilliant. I've read it.
Thank
Sad
you.
that Jordan's involved on your behalf. I can really see he was doing the heavy lifting when you read it. I'm just joking, obviously. Jordan North is, what a novelty.
Yes, he wrote, to be fair, I think there's a full stop on page 48 he might have put in. So he did do quite a bit.
That's the weakest page, ironically.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
okay,
fine.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for these policies. I think it's going to be a promising premiership.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Britain.
I Am Prime Minister is a Viral Tribe production. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube at IAMPM.